What's up, gangsters? Welcome back to the horrors of 2022, and today's movie honestly wasn't on my radar at all until I asked you guys on Instagram for, like suggestions for me to cover, like movies for me to cover during this series. This one was brought up a lot. Mad God. And well, let's just get the disappointment out of the way. I did not love this. It doesn't mean I don't see and acknowledge its artistic merit. It just didn't really work for me. But yeah, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's see, what is this?
Well, Mad God is the brainchild and magnum opus of Phil Tippett, an award-winning stop-motion animator and visual effects artist and supervisor who worked on classics such as the original Star Wars, RoboCop, Jurassic Park, Starship Troopers, and, well, many more. He started working on Mad God in the early 90s, but shelved the project while working on Jurassic Park when he figured that, CGI would be the future of animation. Then, some 20 years later, he picked it up again and through crowdfunding and a crew of volunteers, managed to finish it, making his movie technically 30 years in the making.
And that's a great story. I love that. Although it doesn't really say much about the actual movie itself, now does it? So yeah, while we're at it, let's just take a look at the movie itself as well.
This movie is a perfect example of style over substance, if by substance you mean a traditional narrative. Not saying that there's nothing going on the contrary, I'm sure it has a lot to say. It's just, I wouldn't be able to tell you what it is. I read the plot description on Wikipedia after watching the movie and I was like, oh wait, so that's what's happening here? It's a very mood and atmosphere driven, with in the midst of it all a character apparently known as the Assassin. The first 20 or so minutes is literally just him walking through this dystopian, nightmarish hellscape. It looks fucking cool, but I feel like there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. In general, for most of the movie, it's really just a bunch of seemingly inconsequential stuff happening. Again, I do not try and sound dismissive, but it was pretty early on that I figured for myself that, I shouldn't try and make sense out of it all and just enjoy it for its audiovisual presentation. For the most part, it's old school stop motion animation, but here and there it is intercut or composited with live action material and some visual effects layered on top. It makes for a truly interesting look and dynamic, with Dan Wool's atmospheric original soundtrack definitely adding to the overall experience. It's great music, great soundtrack, check it out. It looks fucking cool, it's dark, it's freaky, it's gory, it's an absolute nightmarish fever dream, and if that's what they set out to achieve, well, mission accomplished.
It's just maybe as a music video instead of a feature-length narrative. And I realize, even with me saying it like that, that's probably part of the problem, because this is an experimental horror movie. I shouldn't even approach it like a traditional narrative feature to begin with. It's just, I like some traditional narrative storytelling in my movies. And I know it's not the right way to go about things, especially not with this movie, but while watching, I just couldn't help myself but to feel like, okay, so you've created this amazingly original, creepy world and setting and atmosphere. That's awesome. Now make an interesting story with that. And that's fucked, because first of all, they probably did and it all just went straight over my head. But also, I just keep holding on too much to that whole, it has to be like a traditional narrative. But I've also accepted that, at the end of the day, it is just a personal preference. I mean, I see a lot of people online absolutely loving this movie. For me personally though, it's been 7 days since I've seen it, now that I'm recording this video, and I barely remember the movie, besides, its audiovisual presentation. As great as it is, production-wise, it just hasn't been a very memorable movie for me at all. And you know what? That's fine. If anything, I'm excited to see your thoughts on this movie. If you've seen it already. Please let me know what I've potentially missed about this one, if you think that I did. And then I'll see you guys again in a couple of days for some more horrors of 2022. Cheers, guys. Have a nice day.